So, you want to start running? Well, I've got 6 tips for you to get started, and there's a lot more than these 6 tips that I could be talking about, but these are 6 tips I think you should really consider, digest, and just really understand as you progress into running. So, 6 tips, and look, I might even throw in a bonus one too. Let's jump into it. Tip number 1, and it's actually quite cliche, but it's actually going to help you get to where you want to be, and this one is have a goal with an expectation, but make sure you understand the goal. And the best thing that I love about this is you can make it as fun, as exciting, and you can visualize it at the same time. And what I mean by that is you want to break it down. What will it require? What will it mean? And what is the commitment? So let's say you want to run your first 5K this year. Well, there's plenty of apps that you can leverage to make this happen, and you can track your progress. You can have a plan. It will help put that into perspective for you of what it's going to take over the next, 6 weeks, 6 months, 3 months, however long. Now, if it's something different, maybe you want to run your first 10K, your first half marathon, maybe your first marathon, or maybe even your first ultra. That means you've probably been running for a little bit, which means you're going to need to understand, okay, what is it actually going to take? What is the commitment level? I've got to commit 20 weeks to be able to do this training plan. I need to be able to do 4 runs per week. What is it going to take? The other one might mean you might have a distance goal. Same thing. What is that going to break down to on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, on a monthly basis? So you can put this into perspective of what's going to be committed, what's going to be required in terms of a commitment, but also what's going to be required of you. Understanding this is going to make that goal a little bit easier. Tip number 2 is don't compare, because you can't. You simply can't. It's the worst thing that you can do when running. Naturally, some people are going to thrive in the running world. They're just built for it, and some of us won't. I'm not naturally one of those people. Some will make it look easy, and some will have to work extra hard to make it look easy. Regardless, running isn't easy. Some people just make it look so much easier. I think the main thing you want to focus on when it comes to comparing is compare your progress to yourself. As you've progressed on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, I wouldn't say necessarily the day-to-day, because that can become a bit of a trap if you're trying to do faster paces and each day you're trying to do faster. That's not the way to go about it. What you want to focus on is what is your goal, as I said at the start, and how are you progressing towards that. And, I like to look over, each year of how I've progressed and each month, but if I look over the last 5 years and how I've progressed with my running, it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So it is, in this case, your running journey is a marathon. It's not about sprinting and being the fastest. It's about progress over time. So don't compare. You can't. As much as I really do suggest maybe get involved in some apps, whether it's Strava or Garmin or whatever you want to do, where you can see others and what they're doing and maybe learn from them, it can become a bit of a comparison game, but avoid it. Avoid it however you can. Tip number 3. Now this one is just as important as number 1, and these are in no particular order, but tip number 3 is find your why. Why are you running? Ask yourself this question. What makes you want to run, and what is motivating you to run? I think it's different for everyone, and it will evolve over time. For me, when I first started running back in around 2015, it was for weight loss. I wanted to lose weight, and I wanted to do some different things to just spice up my exercise. And then I started to enjoy it. I started to get very competitive against myself, and I pushed a little too hard and had a few injuries over the years. But I understood that, okay, now I like running because I enjoy doing it. I like the growth element. I love the growth aspect. I love being able to see how I've progressed from what used to take me this long, and now it only takes me this long. And now I've progressed to be able to do long distance running, and it just makes me feel so much better. Now it's part of my everyday routine. I love to be able to get out and do what I love, and that's running. And share those journeys, document it on the progress, and just see how far I can push myself. So it will evolve, it will change, but understanding why you were doing it, what makes you want to do it, and what's motivating you to do it, that's going to help you just get out there and make it so much easier. Tip number 4, and this one, it's quite broad, and you really do need to think about this, but what's your love in terms of running? What do you like to do? And this one, you will need to run to understand it, but when you're running, are you enjoying that end feeling, the experience or the feeling you get after accomplishing it? Are you enjoying the challenge? Are you enjoying the progression, the growth? Are you enjoying speed work? Is that what you like to do? Is it more tempo work? Is it speed? Is it the slow and steady stuff, the long distance? Is it the trails? Is it the road? What is your jam? If you can find your jam, That's going to enable your journey and your progress into whatever the goal is, whether it's just starting or whether you want to do your first marathon. Understanding that is going to probably help you then plan how you want to plan for your goal. Because putting in these kind of things and managing to these expectations and managing to these things that you love is going to make it a whole lot easier. Basically, it just means it gives you a lot of leverage into your journey and making your journey that so much more enjoyable. For some people, they don't necessarily have any care, then they just want to run and get the goal done, and that might be fine as well. But as you progress, you'll start to learn what do you enjoy and what don't you. And this might even be as simple things as running with music, running without music, running in the morning, running in the evening, running when it's hot, running when it's cold, and things like that. And you need to experiment all those different things, because that is part of running, and running will never be exactly the same each run. Tip number 5. Now this one is actually pretty crucial, is injury management. If you're going to go into this with some full force, and maybe you are doing a longer plan, or you want to do a certain amount of distance this year for 2022 or whatever time you're watching this, injury management is going to be key to ensure your longevity. And what I mean by that is being able to show up and get more done. Some basic things that you can do to manage ongoing progress management is doing some stretching, doing some yoga, and I've put some playlists and some links in the description below of where you can go over and have a look and how you can manage this. It's going to be different for everyone because our bodies are built differently, but understanding maybe where some of your weaknesses are, or just putting in some very basic all-round strength training, whether it's deadlifts, whether it's push-ups, building that core, doing a whole bunch of these things on a regular basis just to keep it consistent is going to help offset and manage and prevent any injury. There will be some huge benefits if you can build this into your running routine as early as possible, and it just becomes part of the daily maintenance, or the daily routine, or the ongoing maintenance per week or per month, or however you're progressing. This has been a key one for me to enable me to continue to show up and do bigger and better volumes. Back in the day, I never used to put too much attention to this kind of thing, and I've had multiple injuries. This doesn't mean you will not have an injury, it just helps prevent it and minimize the chances of it. Tip number 6 is gear. Well, I want to be very clear here, is you don't need to overcomplicate it. If you're just getting into running and you're wanting to start, or maybe you are here for, you're doing some different distances, you're doing some different challenges. If you don't have any shoes, I would suggest going to your local shoe shop and getting fitted. If you're here in Australia, like an Athlete Foot or something like that, getting fitted, get them to check out what is the best shoe for you. I wouldn't then say purchase the shoe straight away, I would shop around, shop online, see if you can get that shoe a lot cheaper, because usually there's some pretty good deals all round, all year, and get the best bang for buck, because shoes can be expensive. Clothes, when it comes to clothes and running, I think it's all about just whatever makes you feel comfortable. You don't need to have a certain type of gear, you don't need to have a certain type of brand, but you just need to understand what works for you, what makes you feel comfortable, and you can adjust this as you go. Now, as you start to explore and experience different kind of runs, you'll start to realize that maybe you need some water. Maybe you do enjoy running with headphones, with music. Maybe you are going to want to have a running belt to keep you comfortable so you don't have to hold on to things. This, once again, these are all not necessary things that need to happen from day one, but you do need to be manageable of how you're running, where you're running, will you have water, do you need water, and getting comfortable with those kind of things as well, because as you start to progress, hydration is going to be key to enable you to continue to press on, but also calories and things like that. So as you progress, you might need to adjust the gear that you have with you. If you were doing long distance, for instance, yes, you would need to have maybe a trail bag or a hydration bag and things like that. But this will all depend on your style and your progression. Now, if you've made it this far, there is a bonus tip, and this is actually probably just as important as any of the others, and that is have fun. That's right, you need to have fun. Running is about having fun. I mean, you can get very serious about it, but make sure you are enjoying the ride, enjoying the roller coaster, and enjoying the progress, because at the end of the day, sometimes we get so fixated on what we're trying to achieve and not getting the results. But if you're going for a goal, if you've got a big journey in mind, sometimes it's not about the destination, but actually the journey and enjoying that journey to the destination. So that would be my bonus tip for you, is to have fun. If you've got some questions, some comments, or maybe this is completely new to you and I haven't covered something that maybe you came here thinking you were going to get, drop a comment below. I'm more than happy to to help or answer questions where I can, or direct you into the right direction. I've been running for a while and I've learned so much, and I'm no expert, but I've got a lot of distance under my belt now, and I would love to be able to help other people get to those goals and get into the groove of running, or maybe find their love of running. Really do appreciate you being here, and yeah, if you enjoyed this, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do the whole shebang, and hustle. Ciao.